Hey guys, it's Sumandeep here with Revit tips and tricks. Today I'll be going over how to use Revit 3D section box, how to use and manipulate and modify its properties. Alright, let's get started. I'm gonna be using the sample project that Revit provides us, the advanced sample project. I'll be using Revit 2015. Here is a example project that we all have seen in Revit. Alright, let's get started. Once we are in our 3D view, we can come to our 3D model and find a specific area that we want to look at. For example, I will choose this corner of the building, and the way we can go is we can go into a plan and cut a section to look at it in X and Y, X and Z location, or we can actually look at it in 3D with a section box and crop it down to this location. The way we do is you go to your property, or under your property you scroll down to your extent category. Under your extent category you have your section box. Once you select this on, there should be a box that pops up, and if you select this box, you get all these arrows in all the sides. The way you use is you select the control arrow and you move it to cut the view as needed. I will cut it here. I will move it from the right side to left also, and also I will use the Z-axis to bring it down and maybe look at just level 1, and if you want to keep bringing it down, you can keep cutting it just to that portion. And yeah, that's exactly how we use section box. And if you want to go back to your whole section or your whole entire building, you uncheck it and you should see your entire building without the section box. Now if you want to go back and turn on the section box, it will default to the overall section box. You have to go back and manipulate the section box again to get to a certain area. So that's one way of using a section box to get to a certain area or specific element. Another way that I like to use section box is if I know which level that I'm going to be working with and which area I'll be working with, I can use my section box or my actual structural plans or the floor plan to get my 3D into that area too. One way I will recommend is if we're going to look at this column again, I can cut a section along which axis I want. We're looking at this. I want my extent to be right about here. If I go in, say go to view, it comes out with my drafting view. We'll make this into a building section. In this section we can name it and call it, we can go into our properties and view name, we can call it section 1, and we can fix our section to show what we want to see. And once we get our section to look correct, we can go back to our 3D and right click on our compass right here and go into a view. We can pick the floor plan. Let's do structural 01 entry level, and it will cut exactly the same XYZ location as your structural plans entry level. So what we're seeing here is exactly what we're seeing on the 3D now. Then you can hold down your shift button on your keyboard and hold down your middle button on your mouse to rotate the model, to use that reference and get to that location. And same exactly with our section. So we can go to our section, and this is the section 1 we created, and once we go into section 1, it cuts our crop view down to exactly same location. We can use our 3D portion to manipulate or move the model as needed or look at it. I love using that feature because then I know where certain, I don't have to go and crop and think about where I'm cutting into 3D. I love using the section cut, it's amazing. Then once we have a section, for example, we have a section 1, and now we say we have to look at a new area or rotate it, we can rotate this section. And let's move this over here, and let's go into the view and say we want to look at both of the columns, and let's say we want the extent to be all the way down to our pile caps. Now we can go back to our 3D and reset our section, and by doing that we go back and right click on the compass onto a view, go back to the section, and let's go back to section 1, and it cuts it right there. And then we can hold down our shift and our middle button on our mouse, and there it is. I think it's a great tool and an amazing tool to know. I love using this tool. It helps me out a lot if I don't have to use my section box so much and then crop it down. It helps me get to my location very easily, and it definitely is easier when you're working with our plan. So we can go down to a plan, elevation, even our 3D view. If there's a certain 3D view that's set up, you can use that 3D to create a 3D view, or creating a floor plan to just look at that same location of the floor plan. And the extent is exactly the extent that we are using on your extent on your view, the view range. Another tool that I love using is a add-in that I downloaded from Revit website. It's called this 3D section box, and it's in the add-in tab. And how this tab works is you select a element or a specific area, and it will create a section box in 3D for you. The way we use that is, say I want to look at this wall, or actually I want to see this whole entire area. How I do is I'll go here, filter out, and I just want to look at foundation and walls, and it gives me, and I'm selected with my elements. You go into your add-in, while it's selected, select your 3D section box, and it creates it. Sorry, let's try this again. Filter, walls, foundation. Let's go back to our add-in, section 3D, and there it is. And what it does is picks the whole entire element. So this wall, for example, it picks the whole entire wall and brings it into my 3D. And then also with the 3D, it comes in the 3D section box. The only downfall, or the one using this tool, is you have to reset your template. You have to assign a template, or you have to reset your properties to make it look correct, or however you would like to see it with your visibility. Say fine, and I want to see shaded area, and there it is. You can use your visibility and graphic and turn off the elements that you don't need. I don't want to see lines, I don't want to see shaft openings. Turn off all my annotation, turn off all my analytical model, and there it is. But I made a mistake by hitting visibility and graphic and turning off all the annotation. It turns off my section bar. So what we do is we go back and keep this on, and it comes back with the section box. So here's a perfect example. If you are selecting the section box back and forth, and it doesn't pop up, it is a possibility that your visibility is turned off. So by turning it on, you go to your visibility and graphic, go to edit, go to your annotation, and go to your section box, and there it is right here. So you turn it on here, and it should show up here. Let me know if there's any questions or any concerns. Definitely leave me some comments and let me know what you guys think. Thank you.